Hey everybody, how's it going? Today, it's my pleasure to bring you a detailed, in-depth look at the very unique Acura ZDX. And this is going to be a detailed, in-depth review of the ZDX. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip and go over the performance data, take it on a brief drive, and show you a bunch of the unique aspects of the interior as well as exterior. And before we begin, I'd like to extend a big thanks and special shout out to All City Auto Sales located in Indian Trail, North Carolina for providing the 2010 Acura ZDX featured in today's in-depth review. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up, let her run. Now the ZDX does feature a standard remote smart key access system, so by just keeping the key fob in your pocket, you're able to lock and unlock the vehicle via the buttons on both the driver and passenger side door handles, as well as the touch sensors. To lock, just depress the little button. One beep indicates locking, then after waiting a second, just grab the handle. There's a touch sensor located behind, and two beeps indicate unlocking. The exterior color is known as Crystal Black Pearl, featuring the premium linen perforated leather interior with jet black accents across the doors, dash, and center console. Now, along with that smart key system, the ZDX also features standard remote push-button ignition via the red accented button in the dash. All you have to do to start is just put your foot on the brake and hit the button to go. And the steering wheel automatically tilts to the last driver memory setting. Now, the Acura ZDX features speed-proportional electro-hydraulic rack and pinion power steering and a nice and smooth 3-spoke leather-wrapped steering wheel with nice soft grain, as well as some grip bolsters up top here. Your multifunction controls are located side to side with some dark charcoal metallic accenting, as well as silver coming around the airbag cover. As far as the gearbox, the sole choice available was an electronically controlled 6-speed automatic. With sport mode down below, it changes the transmission shift patterns, as well as manual shiftability via the paddles mounted behind the steering wheel. Once you put the vehicle in reverse, your backup camera automatically appears with yellow guidance lines. All nicely finished with the leather knob, silver accenting, and the leather shift boot. While the ZDX may not be the fastest thing in the world, it definitely has some pep in its step thanks to the all-new 6-speed automatic transmission. It's a pretty smooth gearbox overall, with crisp, smooth shifts and linear power delivery as it climbs the RPMs. Using the paddle shifters are also quite responsive, there's not a whole lot of lag to it, so I think it gives the ZDX a little bit more of a fun profile. It's not necessarily a performance vehicle, but it does have a little bit of a sporty character to it. The ZDX has two optional suspension setups, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the video. This vehicle we have here has the standard setup, which does a nice job balancing sport and comfort ride qualities. It's a little bit on the firmer side, but it does soak up the bumps nicely to help keep it comfortable for longer journeys. What I was also most impressed about in the driving experience is how quiet the ZDX is. Now, they employed a lot of extra sound deadening measures, especially in the floor pan, but the speakers actually have this active noise cancellation feature, which you can't hear it yourself, but it's kind of like a white noise that the speakers emit as you go down the road to help eliminate road noise, tire noise, wind noise, and more. And so, we're going to flip on the automatic projector headlamps, fog lamps, as well as the hazards. Both the front two windows are fully automatic. Yeah, we're going to check out the exterior, shall we? The vehicle will also chime a few times, letting you know it's lost detection of the proximity key fob. The Acura ZDX is an all-wheel drive, crossover-based four-door luxury coupe produced in 2010 to 2013. A design that could be loosely compared to the BMW X6, the ZDX offered one of the most striking and bold designs seen from a relatively conservative automotive family, and represented an all-new flagship. It's based on the same chassis as the larger Acura MDX, but features a raked, fastback roofline with only 2 rows of seats versus the MDX's available 3 rows. Overall length is about an inch shorter, ride height drops slightly, while the width is identical between the two. The biggest difference though is in height, as the ZDX's roofline is 5.5 inches shorter than the MDX, decreasing rear seat headroom by about 3 inches. One of its original taglines was design driven, hinting that the ZDX was a vehicle that primarily traded function for style. It's also the first Acura that was completely designed at the new Southern California design studio in Torrance, featuring dramatic, sharp edges, flared fenders, standard panoramic glass roof, and hidden rear door handles, appealing more towards empty nesters or those desiring something larger than a sedan without needing the size or space of a traditional SUV. In other words, it's not a family hauler. It's a specialty niche, but one that's already seen success with the X6. In terms of price, the ZDX began at $45,495, while the range-topping model tapped out at around $56,045. Therefore, in comparison, a loaded ZDX would represent a slight cost saving over the entry-level 300 horsepower twin-turbo X6 xDrive 35i, which I believe began just under $60,000. While the X6 is a better performer overall, the ZDX does weigh between 450 and 500 pounds less, which should make it feel a little bit more lively on a twisty road. While the ZDX comes in a relatively loaded single trim level, for a bit more safety and technology, buyers can opt for either the technology package or the all-encompassing advanced package. With the advanced option, you receive the latest safety systems such as blind spot monitoring, adaptive cruise and pre-collision detection, as well as a collision mitigation braking system. CMB detects if a crash is imminent and can simultaneously apply the brakes if the driver doesn't react quick enough, in addition to increasing the seatbelt tension to reduce travel in case of an accident. Last but not least, the advanced package also features Acura's new integrated dynamic system, which adds 2-mode adjustable dampers for sport and comfort settings. They're filled with magnetorological fluid and adapt to road conditions in as little as 5 milliseconds, helping give the ZDX a flatter handling profile in a variety of demanding scenarios. Standard on the ZDX is Acura's super handling all-wheel drive system. Its primary setting, 90% of the torque is driving the front wheels, but if necessary, up to 70% of the torque can be sent to the rear wheels. At that point, up to 100% of the rear wheel torque can be sent to an individual rear wheel if slip is experienced, helping reduce understeer in the corners by transferring more power to the outer rear wheel. The ZDX was discontinued after 3 short years of production due to decreasing sales and low demand. It never really caught on quite as much as the X6 has, selling only around 6,000 units in the 3 years during its lifetime. Overall, changes were kept to a minimum over the years, with 2013 receiving subtle styling tweaks, namely the grille and revised safety systems. For its final year of production, the vehicle actually came fully loaded with all the available features of the previous few years, and, with the available factory incentives, actually costs less than a 2012 ZDX with the advanced package. There were a few different wheel options available for the ZDX, but standard on the model we have here is a set of 19 by 8.5 inch 7-spoke aluminum alloys with machine face and gray painted pockets. They're wrapped in 255/50 Michelin all-season tires. It also carries the same braking system found on the larger MDX, consisting of internally ventilated 13 by 1.1 inch discs up front with 2 piston calipers and 13.2 inch solid discs in the rear with single piston calipers. At the time, they were the largest brakes fitted to a production Acura vehicle. With this setup, the ZDX stopped from 60 miles an hour in an average of 129 feet. Providing the support through the corners is a fully independent suspension with McPherson struts in front and a multi-link setup out in the back, not to mention front and rear stabilizer bars, and the additional option of the magnetorological adjustable dampers. As far as towing capability, while the MDX is rated at 5,000 pounds, the ZDX is chassis limited to just 1,500 pounds. Overall length is 192.4 inches with a width of 78.5 inches and a height of 62.8 inches. Total curb weight is around 4,462 pounds on a 108.3 inch wheelbase. So we're going to pop the hood. Like the MDX, the ZDX is powered by an all-aluminum 3.7 liter single overhead cam V6 with 4 valves per cylinder and port fuel injection. It produces a respectable 300 horsepower at 6,300 RPM and 270 pound-feet of torque at 4,500 RPM. Performance numbers include 0 to 60 times of 6.4 seconds, while quarter mile is achieved in 14.9 seconds at 95 miles an hour. Top speed is governed to 127 miles an hour. As far as fuel economy, the ZDX requires premium gas. With a 21-gallon carrying capacity, the EPA rates the gas mileage between 16 city and 23 on the highway. The interior of the ZDX represents the quality you would expect from an Acura flagship. The styling is modern, fresh, and unique, and while it shares a familiar language, it's unique to the ZDX. Covering the doors, dash, and center console is premium soft, supple leather trim. Across the doors, you have a two-tone color scheme, whereas there's multiple color options, including a saddle brown leather theme. Color accent stitching, all of your power accessories across the door, including your two-person memory, as well as some satin silver accenting. A bit of storage down below, as well as padded armrests and grip handles. The front seats are fully electric and feature 10-way power adjustment for the driver's seat and 8-way power adjustment for the passenger seat. The difference on the driver's seat is the adjustable 2-way lumbar. The rest of the seat controls are pretty much self-explanatory. The seats are also wrapped in soft, high-grade leather with perforations coming across the middle, keeping the seats nice and ventilated on a hot day, or with the available ventilated seats a part of the advanced package. You do have side curtain airbags, of course, as well as adjustable seat belts and headrests. They are quite comfortable and supportive and hold you in well with the bolstering up top and down below. Across the entry threshold is aluminum door sill plaques, as well as logoed floor mats with loop carpeting and a full power tilt telescoping steering wheel. The wrapping, swooping dash is unique to the ZDX and flows into the center console with the stitched leather padded trim. Other key areas across the dash, as well as the center console, is accented in the satin silver trim. Nicely finished off with the standard full panoramic glass roof with 2 openings.
So let's go ahead and see how she sounds.
So we'll go ahead and shut her up. Nice solid doors. The technology group, standard with vehicles with the advanced package, gives the buyers the premium 435-watt, 5.1 channel, 10-speaker ELS audio system with Dolby Pro Logic 2 surround sound, Bluetooth connectivity for your media and telephone, backup camera, and even navigation with traffic and weather updates. The infotainment system is hard drive based and can store up to 15 gigabytes of music. curtain airbags, cloth-wrapped A-pillars, cloth-wrapped visors with illuminated vanity mirrors, as well as a standard auto-dimming view mirror. And in the top stack here, you have your controls for the interior illumination, as well as LED reading lamps up top, automatic sunroof, 3-position garage home link, and microphones for your hands-free Bluetooth telephone, and a padded sunglass container. The sunroof is automatic back, with a wind deflector that automatically pops up, and the rear glass is simply fixed. To close the sunshade, once the sunroof is closed, just push the button forward one more time, and they automatically slide. But to open them again, act like you're opening the sunroof, and they come back automatically. Now, like I said, your multimedia system and navigation is routed through this LCD screen mounted in the dash. It's all controlled via the rotary controller in the bottom of the center stack here. Basically, just using the wheel to twist left and right, click up, down, left and right, as well as pushing enter to make an appropriate selection. You do have some shortcut keys located around, including a back button or cancel, audio, map, info, and hands-free Bluetooth telephone, as well as the main menu which you currently saw a second ago. Your display brightness is located right here. So, in using the system, using the rotary dial to find your appropriate selection, clicking enter, back, previous destination, storing favorite addresses, clicking it to the right brings up the other menu, restaurant guide, and more. System information and telephone where you can set up your Bluetooth device, real-time traffic updates,
information,
as well as weather information, checking extended forecasts, warnings, as well as map. Messages could be stored on the system, as well as main system setup. And audio shows which media option you have displayed at the moment. Right now I have my iPod connected, and it shows the various track selection. You have an audio menu, you can repeat songs and shuffle, and go through the different selections like you would also find on your iPod, making it easy to work through the system. But in a nutshell, those are all the basic features of the multimedia navigation system available in the Acura ZDX. Continuing down the center console, it meets into your standard dual-zone electronic automatic climate control, with independent zone adjustments as well as one-touch automatic for both sides, AC, syncing the temperature, fan speed in the middle, your different zones, all very simple and quick to use, as well as front and rear defrost with heated mirrors and recycling. Down below that are your radio in different media modes, AM, FM, standard XM satellite radio, CD player located down below, as well as a hard drive. Since the system is hard drive based, it also allows for MP3 storage, kind of like an integrated iPod if you didn't want to hook yours up. Not to mention USB, auxiliary, and other MP3 device compatible. Your various preset stations are located here, skip and tune, or fast forward and track selection in iPod or CD mode, and changing the category, scan, etc. As far as the steering wheel, your radio controls are located off to the far left, along with your hands-free telephone and voice commands. Help.
On this screen, the available types of voice commands are general commands, music search commands, audio commands, climate control commands, and on-screen commands. Please select the number of the voice command help item from the list for additional information.
You also have a back button right here, as well as controls for your driver info system and cruise control up top. Rain sensing windshield wipers, and your lighting and turn signal. Display brightness, power liftgate traction control, as well as your power mirrors. It's also a simple to see 3-dimensional gauge cluster with silver accented rings and your driver info system located in the far top. Fuel economy, trip computer, personalizable options, as well as all-wheel drive settings. Another thing that I like about the interior is how fluidic and sculptured it is. Each section over here, as well as over here, has a natural cutout that blends into the center console with the soft leather and accent stitching. You do have some storage on either side and a large padded leather center console. You open it by pressing that button there, and it reveals a good amount of storage space, adjustable tray, as well as all of your media inputs, USB, iPod, auxiliary, and a power outlet. To reveal the cup holder, just simply push that back. It locks in place. And there's also another one hidden under that compartment there. Power outlet, in-dash CD drive, as well as 2-stage heated seats for both the driver and the passenger. Alrighty. Beautifully styled vehicle inside. Now we're going to check out the back seat. Like I said, the ZDX makes its most dramatic visual statement due to the sharp rake of its roof. This directly translates into less interior room than you would find in a comparable MDX. But also, like I touched on earlier, Acuras are known for their well-appointed interiors, and the ZDX is definitely no exception, with plenty of soft padded material, leathers, and perforated leather seating in the rear just like you would find in the front. Coming across the doors, soft padded material up top, as well as the stitched trim in the middle and padded armrest. The rear windows are also tinted for privacy. Now we'll go over this in a little bit more in just a second, but the seats themselves do have a nice amount of padding. The perforations help keep everything cool on a hot day, and plenty of foot room down below, not to mention storage pockets on the back of the seats. Now, like I said, because of the sharp angle of the roof, backseat headroom decreases quite a bit compared to an MDX, so taller individuals might want to watch their head a little bit more closely so they don't tap into the top of the frame here. The rear door is also closed with a nice soft thud, and really the first thing you'll notice, I'm around 5'11", and it's pretty cramped as you can tell. If I lean my head right up against the headrest here, I'm actually having to hunker down just a little bit because of the ceiling. Now, you do have a Bluetooth microphone back here as well as illumination, so people that do sit back here, if they're short enough, can definitely still be comfortable. The only way I could probably be comfortable is if I stick my head into the sunroof opening here. But really the ZDX, in my opinion, is more about making a visual statement. It's very much a niche vehicle. It's not for passenger hauling or all-around practicality. It's to look cool. It's to look stylish, new, and fresh, and the ZDX is definitely different. You do have a padded armrest that features the same high-quality leather that you would find on the seat, as well as 2 adjustable cup holders, grip handles up top, as well as coat hooks, not to mention your air registers down below. But shorter individuals, and especially children, will definitely be comfortable back here. The seating appointments are quite nice. The seats have a good amount of lateral support, as well as lower back support, plenty of padding, and the leather is also the same high-grade quality like you would find in the front. So, I'll show you some first-person clips real quick before we check out the rest of the vehicle. Now, I'll show this a little bit more when we get to the trunk portion, but the back seat can also fold if you need a little bit more cargo space. For better comfort, you're going to want to leave the headrest up, and if you have a third person sitting here, you can also bring up an auxiliary headrest. But for better visibility, you're going to want to press this button here and fold them down flat. There's also a speaker back there, part of your surround sound system. And even though there is a larger blind spot here, the back portion has a 2-tier split window also for better visibility. So if you can fit headwise, there's at least a couple of inches of extra leg space. I had the seat scoot up a little bit because I folded the back seat down for the truck portion a second ago. But overall, it's accommodating. Your air registers. Not to mention side curtain airbags in the rear. So let's go ahead and check out the rest of the vehicle, shall we? While the ZDX may not have as much storage space as a comparable MDX, it serves its intended design and function well with enough area for an extended weekend getaway. Standard is a full power liftgate that automatically detects impending objects and reverses motion to prevent damage and add a bit of safety if someone's in the way. The trunk floor is lined in premium loop carpet that feels refined to the touch. With the rear seats up, the ZDX has 26.3 cubic feet of cargo space. Fold the seats down and it more than doubles to 55.8 cubic feet if you need to haul some larger items, but that is modest at best for the class. If you think you'll haul larger items on the regular, the larger, more practical MDX may be a better choice. What it is impressive is the 3 extra storage compartments. You can remove the side panels for larger items such as golf bags. There's even a deep cargo well underneath the trunk floor, which is propped on gas struts when opened for ease of use. The jacking equipment is located towards the rear of the trunk.
The passenger seat also features similar power adjustments as the driver's seat, only it lacks the power lumbar. There's also an additional button on the passenger side for opening the center console. You also have a locking glove box that's lined in velour with modest space and 2 tiers.
The ZDX is a quirky vehicle for sure, appealing to a tight-knit niche of individuals. While it never caught on as much as the BMW X6, it's still quite uncommon to see. A pretty cool vehicle overall that can be purchased at a relatively great price in the second-hand market.
Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the very unique Acura ZDX. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.